Guys, how you doing? Today is going to be my first day of doing office hours. So, in the past, what's happened where a lot of people have stated that it's been difficult to get hold of me, and I'm in 2026 right now. And what I mean by that, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I basically make sure I take actions. I do New Year commitments where I have no choice but to commit to the process of resolving my problems. In 2026, you're going to see a lot more transparency. So what I'm currently doing right now, how you doing, Deborah, is really just trying to make things more accessible. Now, I've always had a virtual office for over 7 years now. And what I do within my virtual office is that I allow people to be able to come into my virtual office, team, staff, agents. Now I'm thinking that I can actually have my clients come into my virtual office where they'll go into my Zoom or my Google. They'll meet the team, so instead of actually going into our office directly, they'll meet them in real life. And then what happens is that you'll be transferred into a meeting room. If I can respond to you straight away, I'll respond to you straight away. And that is really where the world is going right now in regards to being more connected, being more accessible, and being more interactive. Because another thing I'm currently working on right now is basically getting information to people a lot more quicker. You necessarily don't have to need to speak to me when you need something, but I want to be able to get information to you instantaneously. I know it's a little bit impulsive and maybe some people don't think it's necessary, but in the world moving forward, I think AI will basically be what a lot of solution for a lot of things. And I know it's a topic that a lot of people are very sensitive about at the moment, but AI, like anything else, is just a different change. I remember when the internet came out or when Facebook came out, they basically, so I'm just doing some face recognition stuff at the moment. Everyone had their different thoughts and, the internet was going to be evil. But if you think about it, without social media and internet, it's really changed our lives completely in regards to connecting with people, to be able to, how can I put it? The internet has just made so many different opportunities to people. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. So this is like office hours where not only myself, you'll see me in real time. At the moment, I'm just trying to work on the face recognition at the moment while I'm working. And the reason why I'm doing this, a lot of people don't really know what we do as agents and investors. They see us out in the field but don't understand that there's a lot that goes into what we do in the background. And there's a lot that there's a lot that we have to prepare for. There's a lot of things that we have to organize. There's a lot of research, and I'm typically training every single day. So I got coaching calls, I got Zoom calls, I've got a ton of emails that I need to go through. I got staff members that I need to coordinate with. So most people have no idea what's involved in the process of providing the end solution as an entrepreneur. And that's really what my aim of all of this is at the moment, which I'm just trying to get this facial recognition thing to work. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, well, that didn't work. So what I just basically said is that being more accessible within office hours, answering any questions that you have. A lot of people really want to know how I do or what I do or how I'm doing it. So I'm just trying to make myself more accessible. And what I really want to do, which I tried to do this in the past, I think it was overcomplicated, where I had people go into like a virtual world avatar. I don't really like games, so that doesn't work for me. I want to speak to people. So what I'm doing now is making it available that when I'm in office or I'm in my computer and I got the time to ask a direct question, and sometimes questions that other people are asking helps to educate people. Some questions that people ask apply to other people, and sometimes people are just nosy and they just really want to learn or see what needs to be done. It doesn't really matter. The other thing is that the reason why I'm doing this is because I've understood over the last couple of years personalities and alignments where a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions of myself in regards to they see a lot of the social media stuff and how can I put it nicely? What's the right way to say this? They concoct what they want to think in their minds. Where for this is about money for me, guys. This is about impact. And if you haven't really taken the time to look through why I've done my stories and different things, this is really about like me changing as a person, me developing. I used to make a lot more money than what I'm making right now, and I can go into a whole different subject or topic about money, but that's not what I want to do today. But what I would say to people is not what it cracks out to be or what it seems to be. And what it did, it just kind of left me very empty, hollow. It caused more problems because it wasn't even that I had money, it was that I was doing a lot of different businesses, and for a normal person, they see a lot of zeros in your bank account, but they're not understanding the type of bills that you have. Like I said, when we're doing portfolios, our mortgage on our portfolio per month is $250,000. Now, per month, not per year, per month. So when people see things that and say, hey, why are you stressed? We've got real different kind of situations. Because I deal with those kind of bigger situations, it's easier for me to deal with smaller situations. You realize it's just kind of like a way of life, or it's just kind of like just like a 5-minute task, because I'm dealing with a lot of heavy loads in relation to what we're doing. But what I've realized since I stopped doing as many real estate tours and events and stuff, what's happening is that people are meeting me, and I don't know, there's an assumption that a big preconception, whereas in the past most of my business comes purely from referral. I intentionally built my business like that for many years, that if I didn't know you, I didn't know where you came from, and I just wouldn't do business with you, because I wanted to make sure my testimonies came from my clients or my network, so I didn't have to go through this whole process of trust. And that's something that's important to me, integrity and trust. That's one of our core values as an organization, that we always want to make sure that's in the middle. But my back to my point, or why I'm doing this, is that during this process of chasing, I call it rainbows, because I've been doing business longer, probably half of my life, 25 years plus. So a lot of people don't just know me from a real estate point of view. People know me from different things, but the main thing that has fueled my business has been real estate. And I explain to people that it's just a tool that helps you to be able to back yourself, because there's no bank that's backed me in the past. There's no private individual and all these different myths and these different things. It's purely been the grace of God, and even at the time when I didn't even know what that meant, and being able to have assets that if I wanted to buy something or invest in something or build something, I'll just refinance one of my houses. I didn't really have to ask anyone any permission to do anything. And that's really what I really talk to people about, the power of ownership, because most people don't really even understand the levels of the power of ownership. They kind of take it for granted. They don't understand that it's a foundation to build your family, your life on. And I'll tell you, like, some things, and that's why I feel that I need to do what I'm doing now, because I remember the time when, hey, happy Wednesday, Sebastian. I didn't realize that everyone was here. Hi, Sydney. Hi, Tanya, Reggie, Deborah. So I'm there rambling on and not paying attention. Sorry. Happy Wednesday. Now I've lost my thought process, Sebastian. Anyway, yeah, I remember like in a time like now where people have been laid off from work, and I think about like the times when I've gone through financial difficulties, and it's really just my real estate that really sustained and preserved me in my business and in my life. And like, for example, we've got a government shutdown right now, and I tend to just try and not get into the politics of life, because my whole thing is that God is in control. If I read into these people, you'll go crazy. Like, you know, people always have their different agendas, but I always believe that God is in control of everything that happens. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. There's something that's going to come out of it that's going to give glory. So, back to real estate. If I was living in rented accommodation and I didn't own since my 20s, then after, I think it's 3 months, after 3 months, he'll be looking to kick you out. Whereas when you own a home, when you're going through financial difficulties, you can interact with your lender and be able to kind of, I shouldn't really be reading contracts while I'm on Instagram live, and I should be paying attention. That's my deeds and stuff. So let me not do that right now. I'll make no mistakes. Just focus. Yeah, so I would have basically would be homeless. Whereas I've been impacted from business. I've worked in 9 to 5, where I remember in my 20s that I was laid off 3 times in 1 year. And that was one of my biggest impacts in my life. I remember I couldn't even afford $20. Find food to eat, and I remembered I'd never make that situation happen to me again. And being able to call the banks and say, hey, I need some time. I need to basically have a couple of months that I don't pay, which is called a forbearance. Or like, you know, I'm going through this in business right now, and I projected that I need some help for another 6 months. Those are the kind of things, or the benefits of real estate that helps you in life, especially when you've got a family, because when you can't pay your bills, it really impacts your family, and it comes back to why I do what I do right now. So as life went on, I realized that real estate isn't just about making money. It's about stability. It becomes a part of your DNA. I remember as working in a 9 to 5, I just had a level of confidence where I used to tell my managers that, hey, remember that I do real estate. Don't talk to me in a certain way. I can leave right now. And even though I didn't throw it into people's faces, people just knew that there was a stability, there's a confidence, that when I worked in a 9 to 5, it was because I wanted to, rather than I had to, which makes a big difference, completely a huge difference. And what I usually say to people that ownership, or the right to ownership, is important. A lot of it is really miseducation sometimes, whereby your family may have never owned before, or you're not aware about the options to own. And even for me, when I own, or in the beginning, even though I owned a lot of homes, I really didn't have the education behind it, because I still operated from a space of scarcity. What I mean by that is I was always scared of everything, always scared of losing everything. And that's really a very dangerous thing in regards to, I'm just jumping onto Facebook Live at the same time. Being scared to lose everything, it drives all different parts of your life. So for the guys that are just jumping onto the live right now, what I'm just doing is office hours. Let's see how long we go today. I've been operating a virtual Zoom link for the last 7 years, where agents and some of my clients come into the Zoom link to meet my team. I'm typically in one of the meeting rooms, so you'll come into the main room, and then if I'm not scheduled within an appointment, what you basically happen is that you go into one of the meeting rooms, and then you're able to get what you want in real time. I've been building our business based on being more interactive, being more intentional, being more structured, because people want information ASAP in real time. And if I can help to accommodate that, then that's really what I'm trying to figure out and do right now, be more interactive. I'm also implementing different forms of technology into our business right now, and that's really just to allow speed, especially out of hours. For some reason, a lot of people want to contact me 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning for some reason, but that's to accommodate them as well, to give them instant information. I didn't take offense to it. What I did, I looked at my numbers and just saw that, hey, maybe there's a lot of people that work night shifts, which basically I need to accommodate. They're contacting me and they have to wait until the following morning. And then typically after the following morning, how you doing? KR Direct, Queen City Rick. Hi, good morning, how are you? So if you jumped onto the live, we're just doing our office hours at the moment. And it's just like I said, the main complaint that I've heard so far is that, Darrell, you haven't been so accessible. A lot of people don't understand what we do as entrepreneurs. They see us out in the field, but they don't understand a lot of preparation, training, research, contracts, organization, training, all kind of things we have to do on a daily basis, where they look at our commission checks sometimes and they don't really completely understand what it takes to work or build an operation with systems, processes, controls, staff members, team, payroll, HR, all that kind of stuff. So my aim of this is really not just to provide more access, but to really show people what we do. So I was speaking about benefits of home ownership that people don't talk about, my own personal benefits of when I've gone through financial difficulties. If I didn't have real estate, my life would be a lot more difficult. Being very blessed in that situation. It hasn't been easy. I'm not going to say to you it's been simple and easy. I would even say to you when it comes to a breakdown of relationship, if I didn't have my real estate while you're going through different things to support you or to recover or whatever it is, my life would be completely different. There's a lot of things that people don't speak about, like intrinsic benefits of having your children in a home where I don't have to be worried about where I want to put pictures and putting holes in the wall, or how much noise you want to make, or my kids want to run around and shout and stuff. All of these things make a difference. So what I'm just trying to do is let people think about ownership in a different way, because I realize everyone's talking to me about money and ARVs and cash flows and ROIs, and I'm saying that pay your own bills rather than paying your landlord's mortgage. That investment, that money, which is usually 30% of your income, in some places in New York it's 50% of your income, that should be going into you. You should be seeing your house like a bank account where it's being paid down, and it's like a savings account. You're paying it down. You're getting the benefits of paying it down to get into a stage where you're debt free, and not having overheads basically will help you tremendously in regards to whatever life you want to live, rather than if that money is just going to a landlord, it creates a lot of difficulties. Now, here's $100 million question in regards to, most people say, well, that's all good and dandy, but how do I start? I'm just about making it right now. I'm just about being able to pay the basic provisions. I'm just about making ends right now. So if I can just about make my basic needs per month, how am I going to be able to buy a home? And what I explain to people that it's information. Information is your currency. It's also discipline in regards to being willing to be disciplined enough to learn what your options are, because there's a lot of options in America in relation to home ownership. But the main thing that I struggle with is that a lot of people don't want to educate themselves. Like, it's one of the biggest investments of your life. And you want to know what you're doing, because like I said, this is typically what happens. People run into things and they're not mentally or financially prepared, and they put themselves into a worse situation than what they're currently in. So that's really what I express to people, that while you're in the process of preparing, get yourself educated so you know what you're doing, you understand what you're getting yourself into. Now, once you've understood that, then you're basically looking at different options. So your options towards home ownership is really, it all starts around what can you afford, what is your budget, okay? Now, typically if you are renting right now, you can afford to pay a mortgage. You're paying someone's mortgage, whether you like it or not, that's the fact. So yes, you can afford to pay a mortgage. However, you got to bear in mind that your landlord may have bought his home years ago, so the values may have been different. But the number one thing that people need to get into their minds is that your first home is not your forever home. Your first home doesn't need to be the mansion. You don't live in a mansion right now. It doesn't need to be this palace. Because by the time you get to that stage, and I'm not saying that you can't buy the palace and the mansion, but by the time you get to that stage of doing that, you have thrown away so much money in rentals. It's unbelievable. So always look at your first home as a starter home. My first home was a single family house with 2 bedrooms. In my 20s, I was a bachelor. I was happy to go to an apartment. To be honest, those 2 bedrooms in a house was too much for me, because really I lived in my bedroom and my living room. If I had guests, my living room was absolutely immaculate because I never went in there. It was like a room that occasionally I would have guests, and in my kitchen. So I really should have just went into like a 1-bedroom apartment if I'd be very honest with you. The only reason why I didn't want to go to a 1-bedroom apartment or any forms of apartments, even though I owned apartments, is really I just didn't want to pay HOA fees, which now, thinking back at it, I probably should have, because a lot of buildings have some great amenities in regards to gyms, in regards to, you've got places where you've got bowling alleys, swimming pools, free parking. So there's a lot of pluses. The water is included within the utilities. There's lots of benefits towards condos. It depends on which one you're actually purchasing. So that was something that my forever home, and I've ended up owning that house for over 20 years actually, my first home. I would say to you, within the first 2 years, you're finding your feet. And around about the 18-month period, you would know whether you want to stay within that home. A lot of my clients in the last 24 months, I've got to 18 months and they've just sold. I don't have any kind of... I do actually have a viewpoint on that. But I also have to bear in mind that everyone has life circumstances that happen, and you can have a plan and life happens to you. So even though in the first 2 years they've sold their homes, some of them, like, and this is what I learned from real estate, that the average person has never saved $1,500 in their bank account before a savings, much less 5,000. And then you discover that you have $100,000 or $200,000 that you can have access to. For a lot of my clients, that's blown their mind. It's blown their mind, depending on how they've been kind of brought up. So, you know, it's kind of like winning the lottery, especially if your viewpoint is like, you know what, that money can help you today to help you with your next move. So I understand. Or some of them weren't working or had kids. What it could do, refinancing in the last 24 months was kind of suicidal, because your monthly payment would double even though you'd get the money out, but it's kind of setting you up to fail, which they could have just waited a little bit. Like now we're in the 5% range again. And then some of them just had they want to go on holiday, they want to buy cars and stuff. That's really what it is. But what I always say to the guys that have sold, I say that taking your chips off the table, that I always explain that your first home is not your forever home, but your first home is your biggest liability. The plan that I teach my guys is that after 12 months, we're buying another home. So that other home is now your investment home to help you with your current home right now. As you're getting help with your current home right now, what you should be thinking about is that, okay, I'm getting help with my current home, whether in cash flow, rental income, or appreciation, which is another thing that I've been trying to explain to people. Have a bigger vision. Just give me 2 years or even just 1 year of, you're thinking about how much money you're collecting per month, but I'm saying, what are you making at the end of 12 months? Don't watch the rental. I'm not into the business. I've done this so long that I focused on the rental, where I had a short-term vision of, I want to make 800, 1,000. But the truth is that when you start having tenants, there's always problems. Like $800 a month. Sometimes I was only earning $100 a month. Then the toilet, something breaks. So whatever I earn typically went back into the house. So now I've really got a mindset of appreciation. What am I gonna make? What am I gonna make by the end of the year that I can either refinance or even sell if I got to sell? Because now we're not talking about my residential home. Now we're talking about these are chips on the table. But when you sell, my only qualm I have with some of my clients is that this is an old school way of thinking where I've learned a lot from older people. You always save between 10 to 20%. You tithe 10%, or if you're not someone that believes in faith, you give 10% to charity. The other amount, you look at how much you need to invest, because your overheads, you're looking at around about 30% in regards to your income of overheads for your household. You've not talked about recreation, clothing, all that other stuff. So you have to divide up your life in regards to what am I going to have as disposable income. And this is where the investments come in, where it allows you to pick. Like each of my houses, I used to just call them my kid's name. And it's before I had kids. Like I bought houses for my kids before I had children, before I had a wife. And that's really where you have to be someone that's willing to kind of think ahead in regards to what you want. It's not even a legacy thing. What do you want your life to be? Because legacy, that comes later on. A lot of people are getting caught up in that. How are you going to think about legacy when you've not even got the foundation right? So what I'm saying to you is that your planning, your financial planning, your outlook, you can't just get up one day and think about it. You got to surround yourself with people that have done it. Go and talk to your grandmother, grandfather. Go and speak to older people. Like, they have wisdom. And the thing I like about older people is that they don't have time to waste. So they just tell you the truth. Whether you want to accept it or not, they just tell you, it doesn't matter. There's AI technology, the world has changed. Old school still works. So, like I said, we're in a new world right now. You need assets around you. Your income, unless you're in business, isn't really going to surpass inflation unless you're in a really high skilled job over 500,000. So you need to invest your way out of debt, invest your way into the future you want, invest your way in regards to even a startup capital that you need. Because when I was a mortgage guy, we was basically just really buying properties to refinance so we could use that for business loans spread over 25 years. So when you buy a Dunkin' Donut or a franchise, I've got the lowest overhead. That's why I'm able to sell my goods and products at a lower price than the competition, just with my capital stack and how I'm financing things. I'm being more strategic. And that's how a lot of people don't understand when they're having businesses. You need to basically have assets to support a lot of what you're doing so you can be strategic. All right. So we're coming up upon an hour right now. This is just really office hours, whereby just making myself a little bit more accessible. I used to do this in the car, where I used to just be driving and talking, but this is something I'm trying to do at least once a week. What I'd like you guys to do for me is either DM me or send a comment, whatever topics you want to speak about. This is not for me, this is for you. I believe in collaboration. So the more information you can share, or I can share with other people, that's going to be a lot more helpful. But what my main ingredients of what I've learned or accepted in life right now is that the more I help people, the more God helps me. That's really my main, no secret sauce. That's just really, it is what it is. And the reason why I say this, there's nothing in my life that I've had where I've had the money or the resources or the degrees or the preparation, but I employ people that have PhDs. I employ people that have millions of dollars. I employ people that can really help me. And I'm saying to you that if you really focus and you lock in right now, all this distraction that's happening in the world right now is actually opportunities if you have the right mindset. Every time there's a shift, every time there's a change, every time there's a different vibration, you got to lock in and understand how can this benefit me and my family and my community. Because you can either, you have a choice to do two things. You can sit back and cry about it, or you can do something about it. And a lot of things that are happening right now, we're not government officials, so there's not much you can do about certain things. But what you can do is play your part and make sure that your family's protected, your mindset's protected, you're being informed, you're getting the right information, and just taking your own life into your own hands in regards to what you need to do to kind of move things forward. Okay, so we come up on the hour right now. This is my office hour, and like I said, what I'm trying to do is really make myself accessible. If you guys want to come into the live, happy to do that, answer any questions, get what you want in real time, hoping that someone else will learn something in the process. And like I said, for 2026, I will start talking about how I see that, and you've realized that I'm not going to say I've always got it right, but some of the things that I've said in the past and they're coming to pass right now, I hope many people have actually benefited or aligned themselves in a way where they're not being affected negatively. So like I said, right now, people are in a lot of personal debt. COVID has really changed a lot of people's mindsets. Apart from the personal debt, what you're seeing now, people have to sell. It's not that they need to sell. These low interest rates will go. A lot of people have to give them up. What I'd love the government to do is let those rates be assignable to other people. They've done it before, assumable. That would help tremendously in many different ways. But you have to understand it has to get worse before it can get better. And that's really this is just the beginning of it, to be honest, guys. This has happened in many different countries. So you just have to really prepare yourself and family and really look at how to sustain, how to elevate, how to scale, how to consolidate if you need to consolidate, get as lean as possible. So going into 2026, there's going to be a lot of great opportunities depending on what side of the fence you're standing on. You want to be on the right side of the fence when things are shifting, and you want to surround yourself with the right people that are not energy vampires but willing to collaborate and you align with and willing to invest into yourself. And that's really what we're looking at. So I'm working really hard in regards to more preparation and being more disciplined in regards to making sure I'm working with the right people, which is taking a lot of time, but it feels sometimes like I'm taking 20 or 50 steps going backwards, but I understand it's necessary in order to move forward in the right way strategically. So maybe someone else is going through that situation and feeling that they're failing by going backwards, but you're not failing. It's just really necessary. It's like running a marathon, and if you don't train before the marathon, when you're in the marathon, you're gonna die. Like you got the ambition that you want to run the race, but you don't have the skills, you don't have the energy, you don't have the discipline. So you have to go into a level of training or incubation to be able to do that. All right. So have a blessed and productive day, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.